Frodo has the One Ring for a lot longer in The Lord of the Rings than the movies suggest, mostly because the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring is condensed. The timeline in J.R.R. Tolkien's books is clearer. However, those unfamiliar with the source material may not realize how much time is meant to pass between Bilbo leaving the Shire and Frodo departing on his mission to destroy the One Ring. While Frodo still isn't in possession of it for nearly as long as Bilbo, it may come as a surprise how long it sits in the Shire. Of course, in Tolkien's source material, this is less shocking, as Gandalf spends years searching for Gollum after leaving the ring in Frodo's care, something the upcoming movie, The Hunt for Gollum, will cover in depth. With this cut from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies, Frodo's journey begins much faster. This doesn't necessarily hurt the narrative, in fact, it flows smoothly in the adaptation. Even so, it does gloss over some key details, and it makes Gandalf's mission feel less extensive. Frodo initially had the One Ring for 17 years in The Lord of the Rings. Gandalf sought out information during that time. Elijah would looking concerned as Frodo in The Lord of the Rings The Fellowship of the Ring. Frodo has the One Ring for 17 years between the time he inherits it and when he leaves the Shire. It's his 33rd birthday when Bilbo departs from Bag End, and Frodo doesn't leave until his 50. Within this time frame, Frodo keeps the ring hidden away, just as Gandalf instructs. And Gandalf seeks out further knowledge about the One Ring, a journey that takes him far from the Shire. Given that he travels to other parts of Middle-earth, meets with Aragorn, and searches for Gollum, it's realistic that Tolkien gives him a longer stretch of time to accomplish everything. The Fellowship of the Ring movie doesn't specify how much time passes between Gandalf leaving the ring with Frodo and returning to Bag End, but it doesn't seem nearly as long. The pacing is sped up for the sake of the film, which jumps directly into Frodo's story. The amount of time Frodo has the ring after leaving Bag End appears to be the same, though, with it taking him about 6 months to reach Mount Doom. Why the Lord of the Rings movies condensed the book's timeline? The movies were already long and couldn't slow the pacing. The Lord of the Rings movies are lauded for their take on Tolkien's story, and it makes sense that the Fellowship of the Ring tweaks the pacing of the source material. Although Gandalf's search for information would realistically take more time, it would have felt oddly placed at the beginning of Jackson's film trilogy. The movies needed to hook viewers and get them invested in Frodo's journey, and that would have been difficult to do with such a lengthy aside at the very beginning. The Lord of the Rings films are also lengthy without the elements of the book that were cut, so including a 17-year gap would have made them truly unwieldy. Fortunately, Warner Bros. Is revisiting this cut timeframe in its own film in 2026, so The Hunt for Gollum can fill viewers in on anything they missed from Tolkien's source material. The upcoming Lord of the Rings film is already looking to bring Viggo Mortensen and Sir Ian McKellen back into the fold, so it looks set to faithfully adapt what happens after Gandalf leaves the ring with Frodo.